I have been on plan for over 6 months and I've lost over 25 pounds. Recently though, I have found myself cheating more than usual. I think it all comes down to my fear of missing out and lack of self-control with sugar-laden food. High sugar consumption leads, there's no doubt about it, to insulin resistance and type 2, which type 2 and insulin resistance is now the largest epidemic of modern society. Sugar raises your triglycerides. I'm going to tell you why you don't want high triglycerides.
Yes.
The reason you don't want high triglycerides, and triglycerides, like fat around your organs, like fat in your muscles, is fat in your blood. It comes from high sugar consumption. Yeah. Here's what it does. It makes whatever cholesterol you have, whether high or low, dangerous. You know what? I have seen hundreds, thousands of blood work from Trim Healthies. They get on Trim Healthy, thank the Lord, and their triglycerides come down.
You rabbit trailed us with your whole naked in the shower thing.
I didn't say naked.
Well, how else are you going to have a shower?
Yeah, that's the way you do a shower.
This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
It's the Trim Health, the podcast. And today's intro is brought to you by Leslie Mortimer Wally.
With the bell.
Hey, I just realized I forgot to wear deodorant today. And I wanted to.
I already worked it all out.
What?
You know?
Because of the shirt and everything, and it was the style that you used. Walked in, I just knew that's a style he didn't take time for deodorant for.
Not at all. Yeah, because these could rock with the right shoes and the right shirt.
Oh, yeah.
This could rock with the right shorts.
Can we explain for those not yet tuned into our YouTube who don't have time to see our faces? He's wearing Sesame Street shirt.
It's not just a Sesame Street shirt. He has absolutely no pooch, right? You don't have a pooch, but that shirt still goes out.
I have a pooch.
No, you don't.
That's. I mean, if I. It depends
listen,
on
when
presentation.
You walk in, your shirt.
Everyone can do that if they try.
Yeah, everyone, even little tiny children. But listen, I want to tell you.
When you sit
when
down?
you walked in, your shirt, there was 5 inches between your shirt and your skin. It was just the shape of the shirt.
Oh, it was unnerving.
Are you still working out?
You know, I'm still working out.
See? It all changes when you do that. Your stomach even shifts and braces.
Hey, this is my daughter's shirt.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah, I love it.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I had a question.
Okay, because I've got a question from a listener. Whose is more important, a listener or Danny's? Okay.
Obviously, where is she? It's not a question. It's a statement that I thought was really interesting. I was in Publix, and they had fruit strips. Yeah. You know, like organic, single package, and it's like a fruit leather. It was $1.99.
Yes.
Next to it was a peach for 40 cents. And I just thought,
so much work went into making it leather, you know?
Yeah, but the peach is probably
way better and way healthier. Yeah.
The peach has all that water content, all those just phytonutrients bursting.
And right now the peaches are electric. Like you got to eat a peach over your sink.
I need to. I haven't eaten one this whole season. What's my problem? I've had pears lately.
Yeah.
Peaches are like you bite in and you appreciate the face application.
You shouldn't wear makeup if you're going to eat a peach.
Yeah.
And
I don't.
And if you eat a mango the right way, how God designed it, you've got to get
That's
what
true.
does God
Serene's whole
want?
face turns yellow when she eats mangoes.
You got to let the strings get all between every teeth. Like at the end, you got to go, and it's got to be hanging like stalactites.
You know, when I was in El Salvador, you drove, like, as common as like leaves are here, like you drove down the road and mangoes were just like, some would fall into your window.
Did you say El Salvador?
Yeah.
That's where we're going to go. But did you go when it was gang and dangerous?
No, we went, it was just like.
How long ago did you go?
He was a youth. That's the one where he lit his fluffs on fire and tried to preach to
I'm going to El Salvador in January.
Converted.
Do you think
You
I'll like it?
tried to help the natives and instead you farted and lit them on fire. But that's a whole nother party.
That's such a rabbit trail.
The natives were like regular people in houses.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Natives.
What are you picturing?
I don't know. You said missionary trip.
It wasn't like 1950s End of the Spear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you like Danny's shirt, Sully?
We have Solly sitting with us today.
I did not do her hair.
Well, she did
For the
it.
party.
Somebody did it.
Yeah, but just so you know, just in case.
Oh, you're trying to save face.
I'm saving face.
Mama didn't do it.
Do you like Danny's shirt?
Look, she's torn because she feels like you want her to say yes, but she doesn't. And it's fine.
Dear Serene and Pearl and Danny came in parentheses. I have been on plan for over 6 months and I've lost over 25 pounds. That's actually a lot. But
Yeah.
sometimes it comes off quickly. We don't know how much she had to lose. So I'm just going to give her at a girl for that.
Yeah.
But be careful not to lose too much too fast. So at a girl with a caution. Recently, though, this is Carissa. Recently, though, I have found myself cheating more than usual. And when I do cheat, I completely binge, pig out on all the bad for you foods.
On food. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I find myself trying to keep from cheating by overeating on frankenfoods and just food in general. I think it all comes down to my fear of missing out and lack of self-control with sugar-laden food. I always think it just can't hurt me this once. I've been good for over a week. But this once has come more often than not, and I find myself eating to the point of becoming sick. What's the problem? Is it just a self-control issue? Is it an all-or-nothing mindset? I really don't want to gorge myself anymore, and I really don't want to feel this way. Thank you, Carissa. Serene, I know you're bursting. I'm bursting, but I am going to point your way.
Point my way. I thought that you were going to start.
Okay, well, I've got lots of things to say. I was
Yeah.
trying to be polite.
Oh, I'm bursting, but I want you to start
Okay.
because you brought the question, and that's only
Okay.
fair.
Then I will start with this, Carissa. Oh, so many things to unpack, right? But we don't know your full story, but these are some of the things I want to say. I actually did some study for you, and I'm going to bring it at the end of this potty on the reasons, because when you're armed with knowledge on why not to do something, for me, that is my armor. I know I'm not going to go and binge on sugar till I'm sick because I know what it does to me. But that's for the end of this potty. Right now, let's just talk about the mind games and why you might be doing this. So you said I've lost 25 pounds in 6 months. So that's about 5 5s are 25. That's a little about a pound a week, if not more. So it's fine. It's not too fast. I was going to say maybe it's too fast for you though. And so you said I'm strict all week and I find myself overdoing frankenfoods. I'm wondering if you should just add some jolly good crossovers. They'll be so nurturing. They'll be so easing to your mind and comforting that urge for just like sugar, diving into a bowl of ice cream may not be as strong. Now, that's not true for everybody, but I find crossovers so sanity saving. And rather than go do that, whatever that frosty, when you can, just go home and have like on sourdough toast, grilled cheese or something like that feels like your comfort food. Maybe that's just going to just help you not feel deprived.
Right. And I think too, a lot of frankenfoods, they don't have a lot of nutrition in them. And sometimes when you're just starving yourself of actual nutrition,
Yes.
you start picking up because you don't really feed your body. You're feeding your body fuel, I guess, but it's not nutrients. And your body can all like just keep crying out, feed me, because it's not getting what it needs.
When I'm working out, my body tells me things that don't originate from me. Like I'll get a thought. I'll actually have a mental picture of me going through the Taco Bell drive-thru and raging, just getting rage food.
Is that because
Like, I'm
you
gonna
think
eat
you worked out but you didn't have enough protein, or why do you think that is? Is it because your muscles are growing? What do you think?
It's because I think, and she's probably, maybe this is similar with her, is like when you do new things. Are we pausing?
Sorry, we're pausing.
Is that chef? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She has a business meeting that she's late for.
Yeah, Sully
And
just
her
left the
ride is
building.
here. Her chauffeur has arrived.
She came to play with Pearl's grandchildren, and the
what was
grandchildren
that?
weren't here.
It's like she's a
So-
child, and then we're like, hey guys, we need her. We need for what? For what possibly? Anyways, but yeah, like big changes in your body. I mean, when I first started like getting off of like frankenfoods, I was like sick. It's like my body punished me almost. Like, well, what do we do with this new stuff? What do we do with this roughage? This goat roughage? Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Yeah, but since and now I'm sort of doing another change to
Yeah,
my
you
body.
are.
I'm not just sitting at a desk. I'm gonna get after it.
Yeah, and I find though I don't like to get in the gym, and we're just a little sidetracked here, but unless I've actually had a good something, like if
Yeah.
it's been 2 hours since I've eaten, I need something.
You take something into the gym.
You got to whether it's just a spoonful of raw honey or some juicy fruit or some essential amino acids or something, because you don't want to go all heavy.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes if I go and I feel depleted before I even get in, I will get that feeling afterwards of just like, I'm absolutely,
Yeah.
everything's been stripped
I might
out
make
of me,
a bad
all
decision.
energy. Right.
But I'm telling you though,
But I
Carissa,
eat immediately afterwards, like
Yeah.
within that half an hour window too. And I think that helps quell all of that.
but you do your protein shake and that you don't eat a meal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I do my protein shake, but then I will eat a meal as soon as I'm hungry after that.
Yeah.
I drink the
Yeah.
aminos
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I add creatine, and then I feel like I need to go to sleep
Yeah.
and
Really?
vomit a little bit.
Okay, you're really helping us sell our goods.
It's actually the amino. I think it's the creatine. I just started that.
Oh, really? You're not used to it
Do you
yet?
think that's right to put creatine,
Yes.
amino acids in water?
And
Perfection.
some honey. Get
And
some
down
honey
it.
because you need
Okay.
a little bit of honey takes the creatine into your muscles.
Well, I would do stevia, but honey
Nope.
would be better.
No, you need a
In the
carb.
water?
If you're going to take creatine, you need a little honey. I just do a teaspoon.
I mean, you don't have
so-
to for people who
Yeah.
are diabetic or
Yeah,
whatever,
that's true.
but if you can take
Yeah,
honey
but
like that-
after a workout, your cells are so
yeah.
open. They are slurping things up. You need to do the honey, Danny.
Is it normal to just be like I'm not exhausted from the workout. I feel like I'm exhausted from the post drink, the aminos and the creatine. Or is that in my head?
You need some honey.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it and see how you feel.
All right.
You might not be getting that enough glucose afterwards. Yeah.
Okay,
So
back
that
to
could
her.
be a big thing. But Carissa might be experiencing, like she's only been on plan 6 months, right? So she's still got all these years of her former way of eating. And Danny, it took you forever to get over those sugar urges, right? You lived your life on sugar. I mean, and it was a slow process just craving things from the earth.
Years.
Yeah, years.
Years and years.
I don't think, Carissa, you can expect to not just suddenly have no cravings for those foods in 6 months. I think it's a process.
Yeah.
And forgive yourself and give yourself grace.
Yeah, and I like how you encourage you to have some more crossovers instead of binging.
And let's explain what crossovers are for the new people in the
Well,
room.
they're just allowing all fuels to be included. So it's not just your keto or your kind of like
Yes, ma'am.
low carb. It's just you're not going to just be having that food option, which is basically heavy on the fats, anchored around protein, but low carb. You're not just going to live on low carb. You're going to have meals too that incorporate both of those fuels, the energizing, which is the slow burning carbohydrates, and the satiating fats. And I think that really makes the body feel very pacified because it's getting its energy, it's getting its slow burning carbs, it's getting its satiating fat. And it is the most rounded out meal.
And we're not saying you have to eat all your meals crossovers,
No.
Carissa, because obviously you're still in weight loss mode.
But people
But-
still lose weight on crossovers,
Yes,
especially
some.
if they're coming from Western.
Yeah, some
like really
some
bad
do,
Western
some
diets.
don't.
Yeah.
Some were farm fresh tests, like we described in
Yeah,
our first book,
yeah.
where they're eating all this farm food and it's good for you food and it's crossover.
I
And
agree.
They're pairing the milk
But it doesn't sound like that's
No.
her.
They're pairing the cream with the oatmeal and the cheese with
Yeah.
the bread and the rice with the cheese, and they're gaining weight. And then they start separating, like we've taught in our Trim Healthy Mama book, celebrate the carbs in a different meal to the fats. And then they drop the weight.
Yeah.
But Carissa, it's okay sometimes to put them back together.
Especially if it just allows you to have a nice, satisfying meal instead of I feel like something's missing, so you keep eating and keep eating.
And then there's that binging that also, if you're going too low calorie all the time, what might be happening, and if you're going too low in carbs, especially if you're not
Right.
eating enough meals, your leptin can turn down.
And when your leptin turns down, your whole body goes into this survival mode and your metabolism tanks. And often you can have a rebounding hunger. You can have because your body doesn't want to be broken down like that, and especially that fast, and it sees it as a threat. And so the body, all of these chemicals start firing in the body. Eat.
And what
to
is your
survive.
leptin? Your leptin hormone is your satiety, one of your satiety hormones. We've got quite a few of them. Leptin's one of them. And it tells you, hey, I had enough. I'm good.
Yeah.
So sometimes that can crash too, especially if you're not including enough like ease, which is our carb celebrating meals, or perhaps you need to include crossovers as well for your unique journey.
And we do need to tell people it's not just eating just nice full meals. People think, well, I'm not necessarily being caloric, restricting, so obviously my leptin might be okay. No, you can have heavy meals and snacks in between. But if you've gone too low carb for too long, your leptin is in the toilet. It's only carbohydrates that speak to leptin.
Yes, it's so interesting.
Not fat, not protein.
Because we love our protein. We've spent how many hundreds of poddies on protein, right? We're crazy about protein. Protein doesn't support your leptin.
No.
It is carbs, your good carbs. Because actually sugar spiking carbs and the ones you're diving into, binging into, Carissa, actually tank your leptin as well.
Yeah.
It's only those God-given from the earth gentle carbs, sweet potatoes, your beans, your fruits, even your golden waxy potatoes. What else have we got that your carbs, your whole grains and, your soured grains.
Pulses,
they are your leptin speaking. They're your leptin whisperers.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
That's good.
So, but here's something that I wanted to bring to you, Carissa, because this really helps me. I mean, as I said at the beginning of the poddy, I'm a knowledge person. Knowledge is my power tool. And when I know the why of something, it changes me forever. I can't go back. When I understood that I needed to strength train because I got, lost my hormones, lost my muscle mass. When I understood the science that when I lost my muscle mass, I not only lost that, but I lost my brain function and my bone minerals. That was it for me. I became a lifter. So some things, when we get the knowledge, can change us forever. And those, urges for all the sugar, they don't even make sense anymore. So you go and find an alternative rather than diving into them. So I wanted to kind of go back to basics and talk about what these sugar binges are doing to you, Carissa.
Yeah.
And when you keep this knowledge in mind, I don't think it's going to happen.
And sometimes I like to too. It's not about concentrating on the negative, because I'm not all about that and staying in the past. But I really love to when I've done something stupid and I'm in the pit of that stupid, like I'm feeling the bloated goat stomach from overeating. When I can hardly sleep because my stomach is
because we can overeat on healthy foods too.
I like to think, Serene, just really contemplate these feelings, because this here is your strength going forward. So sometimes too, I like to think, okay, I can feel so, full of condemnation, like, oh, why did I do it and blah, blah, blah. But I can also think these feelings, if I can really connect to them and really kind of sear them into my memory, this will be a great caution going forward. So when I ever want to overeat again, I'll be like, remember that night when you were like rolling around in pain, So I think all of these kind of memories that you have of like, oh, I'm so done, I don't know why, but I keep finding myself binging. Let those memories catapult you forward to having those caution red lights that come on constantly when you're about to binge again. Like red light, remember. Because that can be our greatest knowledge too, experiential.
I've learned more from my failures than anything else, probably.
It's like I never want to be back there.
Yeah.
So I remember that. I'm not doing it again.
When I first started making changes, it was because I was fearing not making changes. But years later, it's that the results, I'm loving the results a lot more.
Yeah.
Like the positive, when you like at first it's like, well, I don't want to like die of disease. Let's make some changes. And now it's like, I feel amazing. Let's keep these changes. Let's never go back.
Right. And it's doing them long enough to reap that harvest, right?
It takes a minute.
It takes a while.
I think that's you can take business, health goals, anything on the third dimension plane called planet Earth. Like, it's time and it's consistency. And I think that's why for a lot of people, they don't know that they really just need like encouragement.
Yeah.
Like to like keep going. Like you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
There's a benefit here that you're not seeing. There's always benefits that you're not tracking.
Yeah, because if she's 26 pounds down already,
That's huge.
that's great. I mean, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So we want to cheerlead you along and say, add a girl, like Pearl said. But before you read your computer, Pearl, I just want to say one thing too. Another thing that's been helpful for me in the moments is kind of like having robot food set up. Where you've got your safety food where you can just be like, I'm hungry, robot myself to the fridge, put my hand in the robot container and take it out and put it in. Meaning you've already got a program, a set idea, a setup for success. Because sometimes I'll think I will pre-make this while I'm full, so that when this hunger hits, I'll go straight to that. It's already prepared. I've already done the energy for it, so I don't want to waste all that energy. But if you don't have anything prepared, the hunger hits, you're subject to all kinds of crazy.
Oh, it's so true. Something that's helped me, and I obviously managed to do it for 15 years before. But being a kefir nerd, always having kefir in my fridge now, it
it's
helps you
quick.
stay. Well, it's always there.
I was literally going to talk about kefir.
So I have, right now when I go home, I will be having kefir, and I'll be having a kefir bowl, and I'll be putting my chocolate optimized whey in there, and it will be delicious, and it will be my sweet tooth, but it will also be my body boosting.
Don't you find kefir is so
thing.
satiating? It's something to do with the microbials in there.
Oh my
It's
goodness!
they
And I was just
turn-
saying,
they turn
I keep.
on.
I don't know
full
what it is,
signals.
Serene. I showed this on the group yesterday. I did it, but I cut them. You can see these ones, my nails.
Yeah.
So doing THM a long time now, always had pretty good hair growth and nail growth, never had a problem. But in the last year, since I've been consistent with kefir and the optimized proteins, I don't know which one it is. I think it's a combination because I put them both. My nails have gone insane with their growth. Insane. Feel how strong they are. They're just crazy.
Oh, that is crazy. And mine were great like that until I did these gels.
Oh, you put gel on them?
Well, it was a healthy kind. It was like none of the 5 baddies, but it still wrecked my nails.
I don't know how are your nails, Dan.
I'd say my nails are at a good medium pace.
Yeah, okay.
I find when I take like gummy vitamins, they
Really?
grow way faster. I'm always just like, oh, again? You know?
That's so funny. It's probably the biotin or something.
No, it's like Alive men's
Oh, yeah?
multivitamin. I wish I had some epic vitamin that would complement the workout lifestyle I'm doing now, though.
The
Well,
essential and the creatine.
You know,
that's
you should
perfect.
take some Jolly Liver, desiccated liver, mate.
Yeah, you should.
That's
I have it.
And
Nature's
heart.
multivitamin.
Really? Just
yeah.
rock that?
Rocket.
It's in my cabinet.
Okay, so
I
start
just they're big
taking
pills,
it.
and I have to like.
Well, you should get
Oh,
capsules
the
that are not
Those
like
big
that.
press pills, they're
You
nasty.
don't want to press pill, then
no,
you taste
they're
it.
they're capsules.
Oh, well,
they're
then don't be a
fine.
baby.
Yeah, that's a baby.
Or if
because I
you
know
want
the
to be a
size of
baby about
those.
it, eat some liver.
I choked when I was a child on a purple sucker, and ever since then I've not been able to
I
swallow
have no
pills.
compassion for
You've
you.
got two.
Mwah.
You've got two choices. This is what we come to because we just did this podcast with Ben Greenfield. I don't know if it'll be out by the time this goes, but he was talking about the importance of. Serene and I have been nerdy studying it for the last 2 years. The importance of animal organs, because they're kind of yucky these days. And you got two choices. You can either make liver and onions.
What she means by yucky these days is people think
Yeah.
yuck, but back in the olden days they're like prized part of the
Because
animal.
it's your natural folate. We've all got these SNPs lately. We've got, MTHFR SNPs and this genetic SNP and all that. You can either make it and put it into your burgers, Danny, or you can take a pill. So man up. Which one is it going to be?
I'm definitely not eating some heart or whatever
Okay.
y'all want us to eat.
No, I just want to put it in a capsule. That's what I'm doing.
Are people?
But we're coming out with our own ones. You can take other brands, long as they're grass fed. Please do, actually. But our the ones we're going to come out with, I don't know, in the
What?
next few months, they're paired with a fungi, and you're a mushroom lover.
Are they
Oh,
are they powders or pills?
No.
because
they're in a
mushrooms
capsule.
are actually an organ.
Yeah, so we're doing organ therapy
Yeah.
with the best of the fungi kingdom.
With some fungus mixed in? I've never heard of such a product.
That's because we're
Tell me more.
But I want to say one more
Okay,
thing because
okay,
we
okay.
touched on it before you get to your computer. Just because we touched on it, she's going to really benefit from kefir. And I'm not trying to add one more thing. And it sounds like
No,
you
it
come
takes
from a
away
dry
other
food-
things. I'm sorry.
I'm
Takes
telling
away.
you, it's so satiating. There is something about those certain kinds of microbials, those good bacteria that turn off hunger signals and turn on satiety.
Well, they turn on GLP-1, jolly heck. Now,
Yes, and
some
that's what
people
you're
need
gonna
more.
talk about.
Actually, let me talk about GLP-1, Carissa, because I would never shove it on you because you're doing well and you're losing weight. But here's the thing.
You're not
Talk
going to give
about
away
it.
our secret yet. are
No,
you?
I'm not.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to say to Carissa,
Ooh.
if things keep going on, like let's say Danny said, it takes time to learn to love foods from the earth and stop the blimmin' sugar cravings. But let's say if 1 year down the track, 2 years down the track, your body is still going crazy and you have this overeating tendency and you have a lot of food noise, it may be time to consider the fact that you genetically have less satiety hormones than other people, and there's no shame in that.
And it can happen from baby. I mean,
Yeah.
you're born with it.
Or it can happen from yo-yo diets.
Yes.
It can happen because you have less receptors than others. It can happen because as you age, the receptors, just like for
Yeah.
testosterone, don't work as well.
Is she working out?
Don't know. She didn't say. But all I'm saying is that if this keeps being a problem, in the back pocket, you have a GLP-1 mimetic hormone that you can get from KIAORA or elsewhere, and that could help you.
And that was my husband's little trick. He did everything. And you go to those mimetics when you've tried everything. And that's when you know you're the candidate.
But then sometimes it makes the journey so much less exasperating and so much less.
Well, I suppose that's true. We had a friend who worked with us, wonderful Becky.
Yeah.
And she'd been trying, but she jumped on board pretty soon in her journey. But she just was so low.
She'd worked for us for a long time though, Serene, and really it was on, off, on, off,
But
on,
she
off.
didn't wait till she was about to absolutely like I'm just so
She
beyond
just
that.
knew that it would help her stay on
Yeah.
plan so much more because she would have so many
And
off
she got off
times.
of it so quick too.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Just
Ozempic?
changed her
Yes,
whole
but
body
GLP-1
composition.
semaglutide is a compounded form.
Okay.
So many people can't get a prescription
see-
from their doctor for Ozempic because they're not officially type 2.
And why do we call it a mimetic? Because it's mimicking something your own body makes. You know, and just a lot of people, they just don't make it anymore. Like Pearl said, from yo-yo dieting, from being just being on these very unsustainable, very intense diets, they actually, your body just,
It gets wiped out.
it just gets wiped out.
Hey, so I want to talk now about getting the power tools in your head of the knowledge of what sugar does to you if you're going to go on a binge.
Like close that properly?
I
That
think I
kefir
closed it.
does turn on a natural incretin hormone.
Absolutely,
in your
it does to a certain
And
extent.
whey protein.
Enough for us, maybe not enough for other people who are much more lacking.
No, but she should try that first.
Absolutely should try it first. Yeah. And whey protein does it too. So let's talk about what sugar binges and do to you. Because there's things, physical, tangible things that are happening in your body. We're not sitting here saying all sugar is bad. Small amounts, Serene even eats some in dark 85% chocolate here and there. It's trace amounts, like we're not banning it like sugar is the devil. We're saying when it has a control over you in your life and when you're diving deep into it, and it's actually the amount that harms you is less than you'd think.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Short term, here's what happens to you. So you get inflammation in your body. Weight gain, we all know that. I mean, you can go up within a week, right? 2 weeks. The sugar, because it spikes your blood sugar. So then your fat cells gobble it up. Your muscle cells don't gobble up sugar. Your fat cells do. And it leads to elevated blood sugar, which long term leads to insulin resistance type 2. So short term of sugar, once again, are low energy levels. At first you get that rush, which is not a sugar rush. They found out, no, it's not. It's an adrenaline rush.
It's because your body is fight or flight. It's like, this is trauma. This is not right. My body is not in homeostasis.
Well,
That's
because
wild.
because the blood sugar rises. Let's just say your body doesn't really like higher blood sugar than about 120-ish. It can go slightly higher and you're fine. But you get to 200, something over that, and that can happen from a candy bar and a Coke, baby.
You ever seen like a nursery room filled with toddlers on Mountain Dew?
Yeah, it's adrenaline.
Oh,
So their blood sugar is elevated. Their body goes into fight or flight, sends out adrenaline. What does adrenaline do? Make you hyper. You go flipping crazy. You feel like you've got all the energy in the world because you're trying not to die.
I would see it at churches. You'd go
Yeah.
like pick up your kid.
Yeah.
They've been cranking goldfish
And
and
juice.
Mountain Dew, and
Yeah.
you're just like, what are y'all doing with these babies?
But you know what? It only takes about an hour. That adrenaline rush lasts less than an hour. So a 2019 study in Science Direct found that 1 hour after sugar consumption, the participants in the study felt tired and less alert than a control group that were not fed sugar. Low mood. This is another short-term thing. We'll talk about
You saw that
depression,
with your
which is
husband.
long-term.
Those
Yeah.
cookies.
So before I got my husband onto THM, every night he'd have 4 chocolate chip cookies after dinner. And he would be the smilingest fellow for about half an hour. I actually love my husband's sugar grin. It is the cutest smile in the world. He has a special one. It's only for sugar. It's not for me. He's got a
happy
different
boy.
smile for me. But his face would light up and he'd just smile and he'd love his cookies, right? And about 40 minutes later, the grumpiness it would turn into was like, I don't know who this person is. Like, and then when he got onto THM, I started making him trim healthy desserts and stuff. It was just even keel because it wasn't this high.
Does
and
he
this
give
low.
a little special face for those desserts?
No, it's not the special same face. It's just like, thanks, honey.
Oh, he can detect the poison, you see.
He
and
loves
gives
the
that
poison.
smile.
He loves the poison. Did I say low mood is a short term? A 2017 study in Nature Journal found that high sugar intake increased rate of depression and mood disorders in males. So these are only things I'm taking from actual studies. It, once again, turns down your leptin, like we mentioned earlier, but it does it very quickly. And so what happens when you've got low leptin? You crave more sugar.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. Do you notice that when you have sugar, you want sugar?
You want more.
Oh my goodness, it happens to me when
It's
I'm on a
never
cruise
enough.
ship and I'm eating those desserts at night. I want to, after I finish my meal, I want to go down to the buffet
And rage.
and just,
And even though you can't add one more thing from the main course onto your plate, you're so full.
yeah, no, I'm full, but my head has lots of sugar space.
You wanna,
There's
like,
space for it.
Rend your garment and just.
I don't know what. I just
She doesn't have that, but that's all right. But that's
because
because you don't have sugar. But sugar,
Yeah.
not everyone feels it. But I'm not a person that like on my birthday I'm having tiramisu. Occasionally I have sugar. But if I am having it like 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, I start to crave it, and it's a want and a need. And Pearly gets sugar.
Do I have an alternative? Because sometimes, like throughout the week, I'll just be like, I'm not happy with my lower weight. I want bigger weight, and I'll find sugar.
Don't
well,
do
you
it.
see, it's not muscle
Get
weight.
calories.
It's not going to
No,
be.
I'm getting in my protein. I'm still doing that, but then it's just like
No, it's
go to your
inflammation weight.
belly.
It's puffy weight. It's belly weight.
I think about it every time too when I'm eating sugar.
It's not girth around your wrist, Dan.
Ain't no sugar gonna make your wrist thicker.
I need to.
You know what you need?
focus.
You need raw, like really good grade, like a Manuka honey. But if you don't have the money for it, just good raw honey.
Don't you tell me.
Don't tell
if
him
you-
he ain't got no money.
No, every night. I wouldn't have the money to do this every night. Like, because you need to do it every night. You need to get like good.
I need to commit to
wonderful,
Manuka honey.
healthy
Why
like
not
carbon
local honey?
And then your favorite nut
nut
butter,
butter.
and then like put it on a banana.
But
and
why?
then-
Why Manuka? Why not local honey?
Well, local honey's good. It's just Manuka's got all these studied benefits that are
Pretty
immune
incredible for your
boosting,
gut,
but that's
and you've
not
been
gonna
talking
do
about your gut
anything
for years.
different to the blood sugar
Yeah,
for
yeah,
his
yeah.
immediate needs.
Yes.
Now I'm going to talk about long-term, Carissa, long-term negatives.
And put that grass-fed butter thick on your bread, Dan.
I've been doing it.
That's how you get a thick
I do
wrist.
butter, almond butter on top of that.
Should see how my son Arden has butter on his bread.
Like
Yeah, he has
Commitment.
butter with bread.
That makes me sick. I can't
He doesn't
do it
have
that
bread
big.
with butter. He has butter
butter
with bread.
and a little
do
bread
that.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Hey, are we
Little
talking
raft.
to Carissa here?
Nah. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, we are, Carissa.
Yes. I was thinking this morning in the shower. I was thinking about myself and how great I am. And then I was thinking about
In
you
the
and
shower?
Danny.
You're
Yeah.
like, first of all,
Yeah.
Once
First
we
of
got
all,
the greatness of me out of
Yes.
the way,
No,
which
it
is the
was all
norm.
comedy because I'd listened to our Poddy, right?
No, but it's just
one
that
that went out
comment.
last
You're
week.
in the shower. You're all naked,
No, but
naked,
I
and you're
was-
thinking about how great you
I
are.
was laughing.
Do a little kick up.
I was
Bam, I'm
laughing
great.
at our Poddy, right? And then I thought about the
You were
three of us.
listening to it in the shower. I've got to make this straight.
I was just thinking about the three of us, how we
In the
love,
shower.
yes, coming to the potty, right? And it's for us. But
Yes.
then I thought, but guess what? I know that it's for the listener. But Serene, this is why I thought I was great and you guys weren't so much. But Serene and Danny forget that.
No, it's just
No,
for
no, no.
us, Dan.
Wait. And it's just for you guys. So that's why you can keep going on a million rabbit trails and I'm bringing it back and then I can't bring it back and all of that because I'm remembering Carissa and you guys are forgetting her.
When I drive home,
And that made
literally,
you feel great.
Yeah.
When I drive home, I keep thinking, boy, we're a fun little club. I really, really like.
Yeah, but are you
Pearl's
thinking
my
of
best
Carissa?
friend, and I really love that, Danny. Boy, I just need to send
Yes,
a
but are you
Christmas
thinking of
gift
the
this year.
Carissas listening?
When I bring my teleprompter,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
then
of
you
the
are.
Carissas times
But if
10,000.
I'm bringing anything,
Nah, I don't
no.
think of no
You know
one.
what I think when
Just
I'm
me, Dan, and Per.
when I'm riding my motorcycle home, I always think you're so obnoxious.
Do you?
Why do you even say stuff like that? Like,
Oh no, I think
love
praise
Danny.
praise Danny worship songs go in my head on the way home.
well, I hear
Just
that.
lost 1,000 people right then.
No, I'm just saying I really like I enjoy his friendship.
So do I.
We only get to see him once a week.
I was just cracking up listening to us, and then I thought, but Pearl, not everybody is cracking up.
I always think, like,
Well, they can leave.
dude, maybe your like stand-up comedy buddies might appreciate what you just said, but without context, that was just
No, it was
rude.
great. But I want to say this: you rabbit trailed us with your whole naked
I
in the
did.
shower thing.
I didn't say naked.
Well, how
I
else are you going to have a shower?
Yeah, that's the
I
way
said-
you do a shower.
In the shower.
I
Sometimes
always
you have
shower
your best
naked.
thoughts in the shower.
Oh, you always have your best thoughts in the shower.
Okay.
Still, but you don't really tell that to other people because
Oh,
they
you've
go
talked
right there.
about yourself being on the toilet, in the shower, and the jolly fluffing behind a corner. Don't give me that gruff. Okay,
You know what
here
I've
we
been
go.
doing lately?
What?
Chris is lip waiting.
I just realized I can't share that.
Okay. Well, just think about how you could, and then we'll save it for the end of the potty.
Nah, it's not
But
coming
Chris
out.
is waiting on long-term negatives to arm herself with the next time
Okay,
she
go
wants
for it,
to
Pearl.
I'll share it with the
binge.
boys later.
Read your
The boys.
teleprompter.
Long-term, and these ones you know, but it's always good to remember. High sugar consumption leads, there's no doubt about it, to insulin resistance and type 2, which type 2 and insulin resistance is now the largest epidemic
Yes.
of modern society.
But
the
you can
number
see
one
it.
thing killing people.
But you can see
Wow.
it.
Number one.
You know, and people didn't get insulin resistant and they didn't get diabetes until they were over 40. But now I've said it here on the podcast. This is what makes me cry. You see it in 7-year-olds now.
Yes.
You see it.
And it is lifestyle. It is sugar.
so sad. Beautiful little girls, beautiful, handsome little boys that should be running around with like those lithe bodies that you have at that age. And they've got it's not fat all over. It's the tire around the middle. And that's directly related to spiking blood sugar.
Have you noticed this?
Directly.
I feel like I've noticed that.
It's not fair.
And we're talking, and Carissa, you know when we're talking about sugar, we're also talking about the refined carbs. Like potato chips are sugar in your blood.
Yeah.
We know that, right?
Yeah, all those white goldfish.
And especially where you pair them with like vegetable oil. Whoa. Okay, but you had a question. Then I've got like 12 things to
the
tell
white
Carissa.
goldfish are orange, but they're white.
This girl
underneath
gets a
the
whole podcast.
Yeah.
Golly,
Carissa
sister.
deserves this. Can I keep going? You had a little rabbit trail.
I just noticed that like some of the most beautiful people on earth tend to be overweight, or it's the other way around. Like sometimes you'll see like really, really overweight people, and then you can tell like that's like a really beautiful person. It seems like some of the most beautiful people struggle the most, and it causes them to eat incorrectly.
Well, now part of this that we're not going into is like childhood abuse and things like that.
All that.
And
You
they
know,
want to eat to
if-
cover up their beauty.
Yes,
That kind of
sometimes that
stuff.
can
Yeah,
happen
it's like
too.
hiding.
And some people are just anamorphic. You've got whole groups of islanders that are different body types,
Yeah.
like Samoans.
They got them ankles.
They're supposed to be bigger.
They can
now we
stomp
don't
out
have to be obese,
grains.
but they're just going to be
Yeah.
genetically bigger, and that's to be embraced.
They have
right?
those big wrists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there are certain cultures that are they tend to put on belly fat from their carbohydrates.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like the Indians, not American Indians. A little more around the middle, just because of maybe, I don't know.
But there is a lot of white
and
rice in there
Mexican.
too.
Yeah, but that's white
Okay,
rice.
let's go into it. So
woman.
another long-term effect is, and this is a biggie, DNA genetic changes, and these interfere with, it's called methylation, but specifically DNA methylation. So what DNA methylation is when your body turns off and on genes. So your body is born going to do what it's going to do. But then epigenetics, how you feed that body, changes everything. So if you feed your body sugar, your DNA methylation is lowered, meaning you don't have a conductor of your orchestra of your body telling your genes, say, okay, that one I see has got some problems, is going to head into disease, turn off. This one over here is thriving, turn on. And that's what DNA methylation is. Sugar comes in and there's no conductor. So those disease-prone cells just go wild, just go rampant. And study after study has shown that high sugar means less functional DNA methylation.
And that's why we can honestly say sugar, I mean, I'd say 95% of the time, because there are other things like my son, what he had chemicals put all over him. But I just think sugar is the beginning of most diseases.
yeah, it is
Like,
because
it
high,
is. It's
high
the very
blood sugar
beginning.
leads to other disease. So now we've got...
But you see, this DNA methylation,
Yeah.
you cannot turn off these cancerous cells and turn on.
But you see, Arden, when he got Roundup poured on him, that interfered with his DNA
That's what I'm saying,
methylation because
yeah.
that's what
So
Roundup
I'm
does.
saying you can't say it's all sugar, but
No.
most of the time it is.
Does chlorine do the same thing?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. But here's just some things that turn on with sugar cancer. A review of studies in the Annual Review of Nutrition found that, get this, from a minimum of 23, but up to a 200% increased cancer risk with high sugar consumption. I mean, so basically you're doubling your chances, right?
And that's why people think, oh, just give the children a little treat. I get really ornery.
Yeah, you do.
I get really ornery.
When grandma comes with her treats.
Well, no, my grandma's trained right out of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it comes Christmas time.
Yeah.
Our children get all of like the special little trail mix with organic apricots in it. And we get the gummies that are like...
You do allow them some organic sugar at Christmas.
But listen, they get the Smart Sweet gummies, and then the other grandchildren, they get the normal stuff because they haven't been trained.
Oh, okay.
They didn't train it for them, you see. We get special stockings for our children, but the grandma gives the special ones
Okay,
because
here's
they know
the next thing, Carissa. Glycation of your skin. This is known by dermatologists as the sugar sag. Now, what happens when you eat high amounts of sugar is it glycates the collagen in your body. Serene, can you explain what glycation is? I know you know.
Well, it's just when the sugar is, it causes the skin to be all like cross-linked.
Yeah, cross-linked. So
that's like cooking.
Yes.
Glycation.
Glycation of proteins. Well, sugar does it to your skin. So collagen is your the highest protein in your body. You have more... collagen is your largest amount of protein in your body, whatever your body makes.
Yeah.
That is absolutely susceptible to glycating. And dermatologists know it. And so they can spot a person who has high sugar consumption by the look of their skin and how much it sags. Because when you have glycation of your collagen, it no longer can hold your skin up. It loses its firmness. It starts to wrinkle. Now that comes with age too, but sugar speeds it up. We're all going to age. We're all going to lose some, tautness of skin.
But why speed it up?
Yeah. Oh, here's a biggie. It's shortened telmarines.
Oh, that's
so
huge.
Telmarines
Yeah.
are like a cap at the end of your little... Each cell in your body has a telmarine. It's a DNA cap. And when they're shortened, your telmarine shortened, you lose length of life. It means you will die earlier. And sugar has been proved to shorten telmarines, and get this, even on children. So how you're feeding your children and what your children eat affects their length of life.
Yeah.
A study on 61 preschool age children found that increased consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages was associated with decreased telmarine length and significant cellular aging even as children.
See, it's so sad. We think in our normal society now, we think, oh, you're 40, you're over the hill, and then you're creeping down those decades, and when you're 70, you're done. You're done and you're living on borrowed time, basically. But that's not the way. I mean, even just looking at the Bible, when Caleb said, I'm 80 now, I'm stronger than I was when I was 40. Let me take the high country. And I'm like, it's a whole different brain space.
And that was not when they were living to 1,000. That was when their time was shortened to
when they've got the
regular
120 lifespan. I'm going to 120, man. I mean, God may have chosen a different day for me. That's fine. But my intention with the purpose and the food that I put on my plate. And the thoughts that I think with my body.
Going 120?
Do
you believe those? I've seen videos where these like Chinese men, they look like skeletons, and they're supposedly 110. And they're just laying in bed, and everybody's just like,
yeah, but
wow.
why live a life like that? I don't want to do that.
I mean, and they're just like,
calorie restriction can do that too. It can lengthen life because it turns on the SERT1 gene, but the quality of life is pathetic.
Yeah, but you can turn that gene on with exercise.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I could go to 120 and I'm like golfing,
yeah, exactly,
that might be fun. But if I'm like 120, I'm like, see, I proved it.
No, right.
No, you're not doing anything to prove it. You're just living it as long as you,
I'm
as
not
you
saying-
can.
No, but
right?
I don't
As
want to
healthy
live
as
in
you can.
bed like that. At
No, but
110.
that wouldn't happen. You see,
Yeah.
I reckon living in bed like that is all medsed
Yeah.
up, keeping you alive.
Or yeah.
They
Hey,
might be
but
medded
next
up.
one is sugar, and this is huge, makes your organs fat. So it leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver
I
disease.
don't know why I'm laughing at that.
And guess what? It not only
It
does
was like
that,
an insult. I'm sorry. Continue.
liver fat around your liver, that leads to, and we're going to get into it, cardiovascular
Yeah.
decline.
I'm going to say that to my next skinny friend and be like, yeah, you're skinny. You know what, though? Your organs are fat.
Yeah, and you can have that. So some people
tell.
eat sugar right? And they don't, whatever their metabolic burn is, they don't gain weight. But their organs can be fat at the same time.
I think that was me.
Yes, and guess what else gets fat?
What gets fat?
Their muscles.
I thought,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Muscle
the
droplets.
striated with
I thought you were
fat.
going to say their toes. I was going to be like, of
No,
course.
they're muscles. And when you have fat in your muscles, you have insulin resistance.
Well, you can't. There's no room to absorb as much fuel.
Protein, you can't even absorb your protein
Mm-hmm.
very well.
That's what I had to come to was like, you look skinny, but you're unhealthy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're skinny on some Coke. You know, like something has to be wrong. And I put an S on something, and I realized that just now. I didn't mean to. It's like the Kroger's. Y'all going to the Kroger's? It's like,
Yeah, no. It's wrong.
Well, I call it Aldi's.
Yeah, so do I.
is there an
an
S?
No,
But I say Aldi's.
it has to be Aldi's.
Why do you think? Because Aldi would be like one person, but Aldi's is a store filled with products?
I don't know. Aldi's is right in my head. Aldi sounds weird.
I think
We're going to
Aldi is a
Aldi's.
name. It sounds like a man's name.
Going to Aldi. We're going to John, but I would say we're going to John's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so that's
yeah.
what it is. It's Aldi's store.
Yeah, we're giving it
That's
that
it.
little apostrophe.
Okay, so maybe anecdotally, these people are allowed to call it the Kroger's.
And
Yeah,
guess
we're
what?
going to
We're rabbit
Kroger's.
trail
Like
again.
Kroger's owns some food, and then we're going to buy it from them.
Kroger's, like it's he's possessing the Kroger.
It's
Yeah.
Kroger's stuff.
It's
Yeah.
his food.
Yeah, but I don't see
Kroger's.
Kroger.
Kroger
Yeah, I
is
see
Mac.
Kroger
We're going to
as a
Mac's. We're going to
masculine.
Kroger's. Yeah.
Did you see Kroger's as a he? I do.
I think Kroger was a gentleman named like Mark Kroger.
Did you see it as a girl?
No, he's definitely a boy.
Yeah.
Now that I had to think
Kroger's a
about it.
boy, like Grover.
Okay, but who is Aldi?
Wait a
then?
minute.
Kroger's
Is Grover on here?
Aldi is a German uncle.
He's definitely not a girl. Is there any supermarket that's a girl? Ooh, it's not Trader Joe's because we've already said Joe. And Joe can be
Publix is
Nutrigender.
Nutrigender.
Yeah.
What's Whole Foods?
Whole Foods
Ooh.
isn't it?
Whole Foods in it. What is Sprouts?
Sprouts is a she.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
such
think
a she.
Sprouts is
You
a
know-
she.
Very
She's
light and
thin.
airy.
Yeah, spritzy.
Yeah.
You know,
She's
I
feminine.
I appreciate my German uncle Aldi, but he sometimes bothers me. I feel like he does come with a little bit of an attitude of expectation.
No, you're just too hoity-toity.
No, at the same time, we need it. Like we need accountants, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to be friends with them.
Do you feel like Chris is waiting on the next thing? Because I do.
Yeah, but you know,
'Cause
all our
you guys
rabbit trails
forgot about
today
it?
have been you.
Okay, guess what it does?
Oh no, that was him.
It raises sugar, raises your triglycerides, and I'm going
So
to
then
tell
I
you.
can do the next rabbit trail, and then we'll be all even.
I'm going to tell you why you don't want high triglycerides.
yes.
I don't care if you have high cholesterol. Big
Yes.
whoop. You can live a long time with high cholesterol.
Thank you, Pearl.
Reason you don't want high triglycerides, and triglycerides, like fat around your organs, like fat in your muscles, is fat in your blood. It comes from high sugar consumption.
Yeah.
Here's what it does. It makes whatever cholesterol you have, whether high or low, dangerous because it makes it small. Instead of large and fluffy where it can't get through those arterial walls, it makes it small and slippery where it can get through and cause plaque.
We're talking about the physics of this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not cholesterol. Or cholesterol is just seen at the scene of the crime.
Triglycerides, you know what? I have seen hundreds, thousands of blood work from Trim Healthies. They get on Trim Healthy, thank the Lord, and their triglycerides come down. Sometimes their cholesterol even goes up a little bit.
But that's actually great for your brain and your
Their
hormones.
HDL
and-
goes
yeah.
up. Sometimes their LDL goes up. Sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes down, mostly, because
Yeah.
when you lose weight, LDL comes
Yeah.
down. But I've seen it go up, but I've seen triglycerides get into that perfect zone each and every time. I don't even believe I've seen high
LDL
triglycerides
is
on a
not
Trim
as
Healthy
dangerous
mama.
as people think it is, though.
No, it's not.
See, I like talking about the physics of what's happening.
Yeah.
Because we do need a mental picture so that we don't make that excuse of like, yeah, it's sort of bad. And in a long-term overall way, I bet. It's like, no, these things get small and they enter your bloodstream. They affect you. Can you see it?
And then here's the biggest thing. It lowers your cardiovascular health. So we all know what's the biggest thing everyone thinks. What's the biggest killer in America? Everyone thinks cancer. No, it's not.
Apathy.
No, it's
I'm sorry.
It's heart disease.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that goes for men and women because as soon as women go past menopause, they join men in heart
they
disease.
beat men, don't they?
Yeah, they join them and then they start beating them as they get older. Guess why? They lose their
Whoa.
estrogen. So our estrogen is our protection against
Because men
heart
actually have more
disease.
estrogen than women, and they're older because they get the mood.
Oh, men get like 30, 40 on estradiol. Women go
Yeah.
less than 10.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, past menopause, except for those of us who optimize and we're in the hundreds.
Is that
go
why
us.
I'm starting to want grandkids?
Well, that's just time of life too.
Yeah, mate. You've had no clucky babies.
I
around
don't
the place for a
mind
while.
men getting a little higher in estrogen, long as they also raise their
No,
testosterone.
estrogen can
because-
give them good libido too.
Because it protects their heart. Men used to be so scared of estrogen.
No.
But long as their testosterone's high, they have no need to be scared of estrogen.
Well, men used to be afraid of like being vulnerable, and now men, it's like every guy now, it's like tries to cry on his podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Give it a go, Dan. Give it a go.
I mean,
this is your hour.
I mean,
This is your time. But make it real.
I can't.
You don't have enough estrogen, you Mexican.
I need to up it.
Okay.
I'm too fiery.
I'm going to tell you something. No rabbit trails for now. A study in Frontiers Journal in 2020 of over 25,000 adults found that individuals who consumed more sugar than others had a greater risk of developing heart disease and coronary complications. But get this. It's not just cardiovascular risk. It also leads to increased risk of stroke. In that same study, more than 8 servings of sugar per week were associated with much higher risk of stroke.
Oh, yeah.
You get increased kidney disease.
Yeah.
As we all get older, right, our kidneys don't start to function as well. Well, sugar once again speeds that up. It ups the level of the serum concentrations of urate, which is the development of kidney disease. Most people over 65 have kidney disease these days.
I love
Dang.
that you've brought this, Pearl, because it's good foundational stuff. We needed to bring it again.
I've got 2 more things.
Yeah.
Constantly high blood sugar levels lead to blood vessels being damaged, and the ones that go to your kidneys especially, but also the ones that go to your heart. And here's my last one. People
One more.
don't understand about this.
One more and make it count.
Increased risk
Cry
of
if you
gout,
can.
but if not gout, uric acid. Now, we talk about this in our book,
What's
Serene.
Yes.
gout? Hold up. What's gout?
Do you have an idea of what gout is, Danny?
All I picture
Yeah?
is like rumpled up cellulite in the feet, like in the bottom of
Okay,
the
well,
feet.
you're kind of right.
Really?
Gout causes pain in the toes for some people, but you used to hear,
Sometimes
like back in the
knees,
times of
sometimes
Sense
knees.
and Sensibility, back in that Victorian age, all the men had gout.
Yes.
Well, it was because, the rich men, only the rich
Yeah.
men had gout,
They
because
got
they'd have the,
They didn't have the peasant bread.
they didn't have the good fare of the brown bread and stuff. They were eating the dainties as well as high meat consumption. Now, there's nothing wrong with meat, but when you pair it with refined carbs, you get gout.
Okay, so steak plus sugar equals gout.
Yes.
Thank you, Danny. You're exactly
Perfection.
right. Now, why do women get increased uric acid levels as they age? So, most women do not get gout. Men are more susceptible to get gout. Why? They
'Cause
have
of the meat?
less estrogen.
Yeah.
Then women go through menopause, same thing with the heart disease. Estrogen metabolizes uric acid. So uric acid is an acid in your body. When it gets to 7, it's gout. You get extreme pain in your toes. You get inflammation in your whole body. It's terribly painful.
Terribly.
How do you
Hard
get?
to get
How
rid
do you
of.
get more estrogen?
Don't worry about it, Danny.
Yeah,
you
you're
don't
good.
need more estrogen, but women do.
You've got enough.
Now,
Okay.
women,
You've
Well,
got
then what
just
about the
enough.
gout guys?
the gout guys need to stop eating sugar
Okay.
and
And it's
maybe
fine.
pull back their red meat sometimes.
Oh,
and
and
maybe
go
eat
for
some
fish.
fish. Yeah.
Okay.
Have a balance, please.
Please.
Okay, but woman, this is what happens to a woman. Instead of getting full on gout, this is even worse because men know when they have gout. They go to the doctor. The doctor says, stop eating sugar, lose some weight, and perhaps eat some fish. All right, okay, he's good. Women don't get gout. A few extreme ones do. Instead, their uric acid levels get to about 5.5.
You get purines, right?
Yes. And this comes directly from sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, which is the worst kind of sugar. That raises it.
It's in so many
And
condiments and drinks these days.
It lowers the metabolism. It causes inflammation. Hundreds of thousands of women are walking around with increased uric acid level, the postmenopause of about 5.5. They don't know it because they never get gout.
Is that why they call fibromyalgic and all of that stuff? They get pain in
they
all of
start
their
getting
joints?
pain. They start getting inflammation. They're like, why do I have all this pain? Well, it's a mild form of gout.
So their estrogen is saving them from gout,
but then
not,
it goes away.
Yep.
And then they never quite reach that. Men's, for whatever reason, are more susceptible. So, hey, Carissa, I gave you a lot of stuff there.
Well, I
But
think it's
about them.
fantastic because this knowledge is going to be, I believe, the thing that's going to keep her from doing the binging.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
It's so is because you don't want those things. You know, when you picture them, like Danny was saying, you picture what's happening in your body.
You got to picture it.
And it's Carissa, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carissa, we're also going to do a potty next week's potty. Please listen to it. It's going to help her
Yes,
a lot.
because it's going to be the
one of
mental
our-
game.
We saved the mental game for another party.
I thought of a coffee mug
Yeah.
What?
or a band name. Binge and Die.
Yeah.
That's positive. But, you know,
Isn't
I
it
guess
kinda
it's really
edgy?
what we
It
were saying
matches
right
your
there.
shirt, eh?
Binge and Die.
You know, really? It sounds terrible, but that's actually what our whole potty was about.
It was binge and die. Can we call this episode binge and die?
I think that's solid. I think it's edgy, Pearl. It's just enough to get the clicks.
And we could have like some kind of like real, like really bright red dagger.
With
Yeah.
blood. Can we have blood dropping from
Drip,
the dagger?
drip.
Let me
Drip,
design
drip.
it. I will bring it.
And then just put one of those little characters on it.
Just
They're
soften things
licensed.
up.
They're licensed. We would have to pay dearly.
You would. Okay, see you, everybody.